Hello YouTube, Spin Vibe here, and welcome back to the Reverse Grid series. Now, obviously I took a little bit of time getting out last episode, and that was actually recorded, I think, around 3 weeks ago, so yeah, I haven't exactly been the best at this. I'm very inconsistent, but it's fine, probably. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and add in Coulthard's 10 place grid penalty. So that's going to drop him around about Rosberg, if it'll work. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't count. I really can't count. Yeah, 6. I definitely didn't stop and point at the screen. 7, 8. My money's on Liuzzi to do alright here, unless he retires. But yeah, so we've got the two Germans starting in front of each other. Trulli put in a really good lap. As he starts 19th on the grid, 4th in real life, which is very good from him. He probably went a bit shorter back then. I can't remember. Okay, I was like 7. That's a random guess, but you know. So yeah, Montagny, almost Montagny on pole, Sato's second. If you've seen this before, you'll know that is the most common sight possible in this series, because you're bound to have number 22 and 23 in 2006 at the back of the grid, or in this case at the front, thanks to the reverse grid. So Webber starting 6th place. Now he was quick at Monaco, and that did hamper him a bit, because obviously he started at the back. He started 21st, I think, so yeah, he was doing really well. He was quite quick, but he did run into the back of, I believe, a McLaren, and I think Barrichello as well. All three of them had to pit at the end of the lap, which destroyed their race, really. But obviously he'll be hoping for a cleaner lap here. He doesn't look quite as on the pace as before. Obviously, you know, he went out in around where it was in qualifying fuel, not race fuel, so it doesn't look to be as quick, but Rosberg is right up there, so you know, maybe Webber wasn't just feeling it in qualifying. He wasn't usually the best at qualifying. I think it was more the starts where he was alright. But yeah, let's get into the race.
Only seconds to go before we're racing.
It's the entire grid.
Really
if there's anywhere where Toro Rosso should have an advantage over the smaller teams, it's going to be here.
The race
and
is
we're off.
Go, go!
Looks to be a good start from Montagny and Sato, both of them getting away well.
Liuzzi didn't get the start he wanted, and as the drivers hurtle into the second corner, Ide has taken the lead, and behind him is Sato. Next is Albers.
Speed, 4th place, so good start from Toro Rosso. Liuzzi, oh, he's gone wide a bit, and that has slowed him down. He almost touched the wall. Ralf Schumacher's right on the back of him now. We've got to watch out for Webber as well, as Ralf Schumacher had a look at the inside into the chicane, but he isn't able to get that move done, and that could put him under pressure from Christian Klein behind. And there's the two BMW Saubers, and Felipe Massa, the championship leader, is currently sat in 12th place ahead of David Coulthard, which is what he needs to do. As long as he finishes ahead of Coulthard, he is hanging on to this 12-point gap he has at the top. As there's a move down here into the hairpin, that is Klein getting overtaken by Nick Heidfeld, and that is a very good move from the German, and he's now right on the back of the Trulli of Ralf Schumacher. And he's having a look around the outside. That's not going to be a good move. But Liuzzi actually going a little bit defensive as Webber is looking to get past the Midlands. He has done it. He's up into 5th place now. And Liuzzi trying to get on the back of Montero, because one way he's going to be able to defend is if he gets past the Midlands first, as he has a look up in the inside into turn 1. It doesn't work. Now he's on the outside, and Ralf Schumacher takes advantage, takes 7th place away from him. Brilliant driving from the 7-time world champion's brother to get into 7th place.
First is Ide. Sato is second. Christian Albers is third.
Supercar are not running away with it too much. Sometimes they do very well and they put a bit of a gap. But Montagny, although he is trying to build that gap, it still can be completely obliterated in one small mistake. And there is Scott Speed in the Scuderia Toro Rosso. He now has the same engine supplied car. Well, not quite the same engine, but Mark Webber also in a Cosworth powered car in the Williams behind him. In 5th place is now looking to get past him. Can the American driver hang on? But Webber has the slipstream. I think this is going to be 4th place gone for Scott Speed. As Sebring shaping up in the background as Webber is up the inside, as too is Ralf Schumacher and Nick Heidfeld. Liuzzi out of the points. This is definitely a track where the small teams are going to struggle. So the gap needs to be built quickly by Frank Montagny at the front. But I don't think he's doing enough if he wants the win after these 14 laps. There's Felipe Massa, so he hasn't made any progress. It's Juan Pablo Montoya ahead of him, so Montoya isn't going to let him go easy, but Massa is up the inside into the chicane. They're going to go side by side, and Massa on the outside of the second part of the chicane gets the job done. A brilliant move from the championship leader. This could be his season, his first season at Ferrari. Could be the time when he wins the World Championship, and that would be pretty fantastic if he can do that. There's Michael Schumacher, and Coulthard is down to 17th. I believe he started there. I think he made up a couple of places on the start and dropped back a little bit. There is Alonso and Fisichella, so they're making moves. They started on the last row of the grid, the pair of them, and they're already up into 18th and 19th. There's Mark Webber. There is Ralf Schumacher in 6th place. Nick Heidfeld in 7th. He's got past Montero as well.
He's just on a lap of 1:16.11. The gap to Albers is narrowing. He's lapping in the high 1:16s, low 1:17s at the moment.
So low 1:16s for Mark Webber. That is not exactly fantastic. That can be beaten. Obviously, if he gets some clean air, he will put in some better laps, probably into the low 1:15s, maybe 1:14s if he gets lucky. But the cars that can certainly do that are at the back, and they're stuck in a battle as Fernando Alonso gets himself past David Coulthard. The two Renaults are really working well to get through the field here, as Jenson Button is in 16th. He's having a look at Christian Klein, who's dropped back a bit from Michael Schumacher and the Barrichello and Jacques Villeneuve, the home driver here. I think I'm missing someone. No, we're not. The pair of them have got back past Jacques Villeneuve just then. So Liuzzi now having a look at the Midlands, gets very close to the back of Thiago Montero. Doesn't run into the back of him. Keeps it clean. A very good driving from Liuzzi to keep the car out of the back of the Midlands in front. But he's gone wide there, but Montoya isn't able to take advantage. He's actually had to back off, and that could back Massa into his teammate Michael Schumacher. And they're getting very close to Michael Schumacher, getting a little bit squirrely as Massa runs wide, and they're all bunching up together as they try to get past each other. Watch out for Alonso trying to make a move on one of the Hondas. It hasn't worked. Button has been able to defend, but he's ran wide. Alonso has another look, and the Spaniard is going to be trying to get past as quickly as he can because he is in the best car. Fisichella's sort of stuck in 19th at the moment, but I guarantee there's going to be a move made into the hairpin. Barrichello's pretty close to the back of the Honda, but surprisingly, Button throws it up the inside of both of them. Tries to throw it up the inside of Villeneuve as well as his teammate Barrichello. He didn't quite do it, and he tried to get a tighter exit to try and get it, but he hasn't done it. And he's looking up the inside into the chicane. Better straight line speed on that Honda, and he gets past as Alonso looking which way he can, trying to get past the cars in front of him. as Webber seems to be stuck in 4th place as Montoya's up into 9th, so Liuzzi's back into the points. Schumacher's ahead of Felipe Massa.
He's lapping in the high 116s, low 117s at the moment. The gap is 0.8 of a second now.
As Ralf Schumacher is ahead of Scott Speed, and Speed trying to hang on. If he gets the slipstream, he will be able to close back in on Ralf Schumacher, and he's certainly going to have a chance to do that as Ralf Schumacher closes in on Mark Webber, who can't quite get past Christian Albers. Albers doing well to defend from the Australian driver, and we'll see what Scott Speed can do if he can stay close enough for the run down into the final chicane. He's ran a little bit wide through the hairpin, so he's lost time, and I think he's going to be vulnerable to Nick Heidfeld. Heidfeld could get past, but Webber still isn't close enough to get past Albers, so brilliant driving from Albers, keeping the pressure off the Super Gurus, as there is Nick Heidfeld up the inside of Scott Speed, as too is Montoya on Liuzzi, so both Toro Rossos lose a position on this lap. Been pretty fast-paced so far. I did expect it to happen, as Sato is closing in on Franco Montagni.
The gap is stretched to 1.1 seconds.
Lots of battling going on here as Fisichella has made up a couple of places. Alonso has sort of stalled a bit. And Montero's down to 13th.
Next is Ralf Schumacher.
Good to know we can copy the rest of the smaller team cars.
Speed is 7th. He's down from 6th. And in 8th place is Juan Pablo Montoya.
Michael Schumacher closing in on the back of Liuzzi. I don't think Liuzzi's going to be able to get some points. I was expecting him to maybe do a little bit better, use the slipstream advantage, but he hasn't been able to do it. And he's starting to come under pressure from Michael Schumacher. I have a feeling he's going to drop out the top 10 pretty soon. And Speed is going to be dropping out of the points pretty soon as well, as he's going to get passed by Montoya now. Up the inside goes Montoya as well as Michael Schumacher. So Liuzzi down to 10th place, but Scott Speed is still in 8th place. He's still holding a points position for Toro Rosso, but that's not going to be there for long, as Michael Schumacher is right on the back of him. Malcolm's still in 4th place. I've seen it before where the smaller teams have surprisingly, and it not Toro Rosso, just like Midlands or Super Gurry, they've surprisingly hung on at a fast track. And there was one point where I was doing this off camera alongside PS Luton Rules series, and Italy, Webber was out in front, and then Montero got into 2nd place, and there was a massive gap between Webber and Montero, and he closed it in a few laps past Webber, and then they just swapped positions, and Montero ended up winning by 1,000th of a second. So pretty tight. But that's not going to be the case here, I don't think, as Ralf Schumacher takes 4th place away from Mark Webber. He sort of stalled a bit when he got into 4th place. He's now back down to 5th. And the two Subaru Gurus are getting pretty close to each other. So it's all starting to kick off now as Montoya is into the points. Ralf Schumacher is at the front now, as well as Heidfeld. Michael Schumacher's into the points. Massa is just outside them. There's Jenson Button. Barrichello not too far behind, as well as Fisichella and Alonso. Fisichella now ahead of Fernando Alonso.
Montoya 6th. That's a gain of 1 place. Heidfeld is in 7th. He's down from 6th. And Schumacher is 8th.
All pretty tight together. It's a lot closer than you'd initially expect from a track like Canada. It's a very fast-paced track, and they're sort of more spaced out than they were in real life on this game, so yeah, it's surprising it's as tight as it is, as Montoya is pretty close to Webber. He's going to go up the inside into the hairpin. That doesn't work. He's had to back off, and that hasn't quite put him under pressure from Heidfeld, but might be enough for Heidfeld to defend from Michael Schumacher. Maybe not. Schumacher's getting pretty close in that Ferrari. Of course, William needs Williams needs these points because they're in last place. They're only a point behind Toro Rosso and a further point behind Toyota, so Toyota need these points as well. This is a crucial race for the pair of them, and they'll be happy with a 4th and 5th place for the two teams. Montoya is just hung on from Michael Schumacher in 6th place.
First is Ide. Sato is 2nd. Christian Albers is 3rd. Next is Ralf Schumacher. Weber is 5th.
Montoya is going to need to get past Weber if he wants to defend from Michael Schumacher, I think. As Ralf Schumacher isn't actually getting close to Albers. He's not getting as close as he could. And he's certainly not close enough to pass. As I think Albers is brilliantly using the slipstream from Takuma Sato in front to defend from the faster cars behind. Brilliant driving from Christian Albers. He's held 3rd place for a long while with much faster cars behind him. As Weber and Montoya are starting to go out it, they've got to worry out for got to worry about Michael Schumacher as well. And Michael Schumacher's getting pretty close, as is Montoya. Montoya's up the inside into the chicane. He gets past Mark Webber. Mark Webber back down to 6th place. And Michael Schumacher is going to be looking to get past Webber.
That lap's an improvement for Alonso and his fastest of the day so far. That last lap time was a 1:14.69. That shows significantly more pace than Liuzzi. He's been posting laps around the mid-1:16s.
Fantastic driving from Fernando Alonso. Sets a 1:14 and then just dive bombs Liuzzi and makes the move stick. And now he's going to be closing in right in on Fisichella, as Fisichella ran wide on the exit of turn 4, but defends from his teammates, and no team orders there. And Alonso's actually run a little bit wide now. But up to 13th and 14th for Renault, so they haven't done too badly, but they've been nowhere near as impressive at moving through the field as Ferrari and McLaren. Raikkonen's actually in 17th, so he hasn't done well, but Montero's down to last. Come on, Montero.
That last lap time was a 1:14.
It's all pretty close now at the front. Sato not too far behind his teammate, as is Albers not too far behind Sato, and Montoya having a look at trying to get past Montoya Albers, and forces his way up the inside into the final chicane. Very aggressive from Montoya. He wants his podium badly. He's only sat on 8 points, so you can understand why. And Michael Schumacher is chasing him down, and Albers has actually lost 3 positions in 2 corners, so Albers not doing well. He's going to lose another one to Massa and possibly Webber, maybe Button.
He's up from 5th.
Michael Schumacher now having a look at getting past Montoya. Has he done it? Yes, he has. A little bit of contact between the two. These two have had such fantastic battles throughout the years, and this one has ended in Michael Schumacher's favour in the Ferrari.
Just a few laps to go. It looks like Montoya has raised his game. Does he have enough time left to make his mark though? It looks like Schumacher may be passed soon. The gap now is 0.7 seconds. Montoya is fast through the middle part of this lap.
I always love the commentary late on in the race. It's just so outdated in such a short space of time. But Michael Schumacher is going to look at finally taking this 1-2 finish off of Super Aguri. Sato does everything he can, but he just isn't quick enough in that Super Aguri. And Michael Schumacher is through into 2nd place, and Montoya is up into 3rd. And I don't think Montagny is going to be able to hang on for these 2 laps. Michael Schumacher is most likely going to take the win here in Canada. But brilliant driving from Super Aguri to last as long as they did with the 1-2 position.
That looks like one of the Renaults cruising around the circuit. It's Alonso! Looks to be some minor damage to his right rear tyre. He's not
and drama here in the final stages of the race. I'm going to have a look at a replay. So going down the start-finish line now. I'll just go from here. I noticed we dropped down to 21 runners as well. We definitely had 22 for up until that point, I'm pretty sure of it. So we're coming into turn 3 and 4 now. So he's just maybe we didn't. I guess he just hit the wall. He ran a little bit too wide, hit the wall, and that's given him a puncture. So Alonso out. I'm not sure who else. Well, I say out. He's still going, but I'm not. He's pretty much out the race. I'm not sure who is out with him.
The question is,
but Montagny, brilliant driving to defend into the hairpin, but I don't think he's going to be able to defend into the final chicane. Oh, there's an engine failure for Juan Pablo Montoya. He was a surefire second place in these dying stages of the race, but he is now out of the Grand Prix. Unbelievably bad luck for the Colombian.
He's left Ide standing, and I would think that's the end of that battle.
And Michael Schumacher up into first place. This is going to be a win for him.
Ide is in second.
And it could be second place for Frank Montagny. Brilliant driving from him.
The top 8 drivers at the moment.
And Sato, if he does well, if he's able to defend enough, he could potentially get third place, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be either Ralf Schumacher or Felipe Massa.
Felipe Massa is 5th. He's moved up from
brilliant driving from Albers as well. He's still in 6th place.
Heidfeld is in 7th. And Button 8th.
And Fisichella got close, but I don't think he's going to take points from this. Renault haven't done particularly well, and they've really been carried by Fisichella so far. It's good to go up the inside into the hairpin, but I don't think he's close enough to Button to get a slipstream to take the final points position. As there is Alonso, but Michael Schumacher rounds the final chicane, keeps it out the wall of champions, and comes across the line to take the 10 points here in Canada. The season is certainly getting more interesting as it goes on. And Frank Montagny, brilliant second place for him, and Sato hangs on for third place.
He hasn't helped his race because he's just retired. Weber was the other car involved in that. Incredibly, there doesn't look to be any damage.
Ide hangs on for second.
Barrichello out as Alonso peels off into the pits. Okay, so we're coming down to the hairpin where Fisichella got past Mark Webber, and Webber was involved in this, so we'll see what happens. I'm guessing slipstream and just an over-aggressive move from Rubens Barrichello. He has a look down the outside. There is Alonso. He has to slot back in the slipstream of Mark Webber, and oh. Well, we can't see the move, I guess. But nonetheless, brilliant driving from some of the guys. And I think we're pretty much waiting for Alonso to finish now. And they're just going at different speeds depending on I guess where they finish and how much fuel they have on board. Michael Schumacher obviously just going slowly. There we go. There is the results. Bridgestone dominate the top 6. Brilliant. That's brilliant for Bridgestone. Obviously, soon they become the sole supplier for their tyres. But almost a 5-second gap back to second place from Michael Schumacher. And almost another 4 seconds back to Takuma Sato in third. But brilliant defending on that last lap from Sato to take third place. That's a brilliant 2-3 for Super Aguri.
To make sure that nothing like that happens again. I'm looking forward to seeing a full race 1 week from now, and I hope you'll.
And if you heard him talking behind me, he was talking about the US Grand Prix and the incident, the famous controversial incident with the Michelin tyres, in where all Michelin runners couldn't complete the race, and Villeneuve was the car that retired before the incident with Alonso. But moving on to the championship standings. So here is the Drivers' Championship, and Felipe Massa now extends his gap to 19 points. Yeah, Michael Schumacher has moved up into 4th, level on points with Fisichella, as he and Coulthard didn't score any points this race. It was a pretty tough one for the smaller teams. Of course, Montero tanked down the order into last place, and then was several seconds behind Rosberg, who was second to last at one point. I can't remember if he finished there or not, but yeah, it was pretty much a race to forget for Montero. But yes, the Super Aguri, they somehow got a double podium. I don't know what Sato did on that second to last straight to finish ahead of Ralf Schumacher and Felipe Massa, but he somehow did it. And a second and third for Super Aguri has really helped them out, because they are now level on points with the older team, shall we say, because they're pretty much the B team for Honda, and they're level on points with Honda actually. Second and third for the pair of them. It's pretty surprising how it's turned out for Super Aguri. They've done really well, better than I was expecting, and yeah, there's like zero change further down the order. 13th to 23rd is the zero change in the championship. It's all been further up, sort of the higher end of the field in the championship where there's been change. But moving on to the Constructors Standings, and Ferrari have 25-point gap back to Honda and Aguri. Toyota up to 4th and BMW Sauber up to 7th. It's pretty. There's not a lot of change in the Constructors Standings. Once again, it's more further up the grid really where points are being scored. But the next race is Indianapolis. That's going to be an interesting one. And after that, it's Frank Montagni's final outing for the team at his home GP. So join me for both of them. They're going to be pretty interesting ones. I mean, at the Indianapolis one, I've seen the AI cars go like 4 wide into turn 1 because they can. I mean, they've got the long straight and the final banking to help them with the slipstream. But join me then.